I wanted to take a second and just share a little bit about the signature portrait from Walden's. It is a beautiful statement piece, and it marries together the years of both photography education that Bev and I have, but just as much the print artist side of what we do and how we do what we do, because the reality is that's a skill set that seems to be missing today. That ability to understand not only how to print, but what to print on, how to produce the print, how to create an image for that final print, what substrates to choose, what canvases to choose. There's so much that goes into that decision. And it seems to be somewhat of a lost art today, but the signature canvas has all of those qualities. These pieces are the pieces Beverly and I put in our home. Every detail is given to this particular portrait to make it the very best that we can make it. It starts with artwork and a signature portrait, and this is why I kind of hate just saying it's a canvas, because people think that's just what you mount it on, but there's so much more to it than that. Signature canvas begins with two artists. We have two artists here, one that does corrective retouching, and that's retouching like blending the pores of the skin, removing things that shouldn't be there, things that cameras today have a tendency to like feature, unfortunately. But from there it goes to Beverly, who does what we call enhancive artwork. And that's things like bringing out the color in the eyes, warming the complexion possibly, adding more texture or highlights in different parts of the portrait. Each of these things are determined based on what that portrait needs. So it's not a checklist on a software program, but it's a person sitting down and making those decisions, and all based on what's going to make the best and finest portrait for you and for your home. Then it is on canvas, absolutely, but not just any canvas. We use what we call a museum grade or a luxury grade canvas. It's much thicker. The textures are built for photographs, and we also, our craftsmen will peel the back of that custom print once it's printed, and then emboss that into the canvas in such a way that it truly becomes one. It's not a photo on top of a piece of canvas that feels kind of bumpy. It's just truly bonded into that canvas. The printmaking that goes into our signature canvas is all under my direction and under my production. Color grading, I do that because I'm trained as a print artist. That's one of the skill sets that I'm so proud of with the years in photography, is understanding not only what type of papers and substrates, but also what things translate in a beautiful portrait. What needs to be right. You know, my father used to tell me, he said, you're not in the reality business, you're in the flattery business. And I've always remembered that you create art pieces that show people the way their loved ones see them. And that's what we look to do. A signature canvas, our signature portrait does that. So it's once the color grading, the color adjustments, densities, once I do all that, a test print's made. And then if there's any final touches to be done, I do that and it goes to final print. Once printed, it's canvas mounted, as I mentioned, on the finest canvases money can buy. And then the final touches, we have a craftsman that sets with a varnish and hand varnishes. Very subtle. You really have to look to see it, but you can see the varnish that sits on top of that image protects it. It protects it from some of the UV lights that are there. It protects it physically, but that's why you never want to use glass with it. But it gives it an amazing surface that's unlike anything you've ever seen. These are truly, truly pieces of art. And then from there, it's ready to go into a frame of your choice. And so there's a lot that goes into these pieces. The one thing we the one thing we get beat at all the time is the amount of time it takes. This is such a custom product that it does require quite a bit of time. There's a lot of process, a lot of time that goes into making this what you expect it to be, what we require it to be. But I promise you it's worth the wait. Everything about it is done exactly the way I have it done for my home, and the only way we're going to let it go out of our studio. So I hope that helps you understand a little bit about the value, the process, and the impact that a Walden Signature Portrait has.